Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. I'm really excited to share this layout with you today. I created this background paper using Photoshop Elements 14, and I had pulled in some silhouettes of trees and then I made them different colors, and I printed it in grayscale on my Canon Pixma Pro 100 printer, which is a large format printer. So this is a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. And then I decided to go ahead and gesso it, and you'll see there that the gesso is picking up some of the grayscale, kind of wiping it off a bit. It's picking up some of the ink rather, and I hadn't thought about the fact that the gesso would pick up the ink. I knew that if I put paint or any liquid on it, it would, but for some reason it didn't register in my mind that the gesso would do that. So what I did was I just put a really quick thick coat on, and I probably should have sprayed it with fixative. Next time I do this, I'm going to go ahead and try spraying it with the fixative first and then putting the gesso on and see if that makes a difference. But I pulled out all of my green Heidi Swapp color shines and some of my Glimmer Mist in some different greens. I have more olive color greens in the Glimmer Mist and the brighter greens in the Heidi Swapp. And I went ahead and just used a water brush and went over the trees in grayscale, making the ones in the background lighter and the ones in the foreground darker. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, and to be honest with you, I wasn't really crazy about the end result, but I figured I did it. I went to all this trouble. I'm going to use the paper and see how it comes out. So this tree that's on the right, I went over in several different colors because I wasn't crazy about the green. I wasn't crazy about how it was laying down. So I mixed some greens together, went over it multiple times to kind of get that to a color that I liked. And then that is also where my photo is going to go, so it's going to cut down on that green in the background quite a bit. I think the biggest problem with this particular green was there was an awful lot of blue in it, and so it kind of had a greenish teal look to it, whereas I wanted more of the olives and then the lighter citron or bright greens in the background. So like I said, I'm going to go over it a couple times. The nice thing about gesso is you can go over it multiple times and see what happens. And I did pick up some of the green with some paper towels. And I'm just doing this super quick. I also wasn't crazy about the way the paper took the paint in that right-hand tree. It left a lot of stroke marks. And actually there's stroke marks in all of them. And I think that's going to happen using the water brush no matter what. But it just showed up a lot more in that right-hand tree. So I don't know what the deal was, but in the end, it does work. And I actually really like the layout when all is said and done. And I'm glad I actually convinced myself, okay, you're using this paper because you went to all this trouble, and we'll see what happens. I started using my heat gun as I was going along so that I could put layer upon layer on these trees and build up the color some, and that helped minimize the look of the stroke marks and the pooling that happened in some of the areas on the paper. When I applied the gesso, the top and the bottom of the page curled some, and in order to combat that, I went ahead and mounted this on a piece of black cardstock. First, I trimmed around the edge of this paper a 1/4 inch on each side, so that I'll have a 1/4 inch reveal of the black cardstock framing it somewhat. And then I wanted to actually create more of a frame which would help minimize some of the background a little bit. Oh, you can see there on the back I had printed it a test page, and it printed in 8.5 by 11, so I just went ahead and reprinted it on the other side of the paper. This is just Basil cardstock, and it's their smooth cardstock, and the the Pro 100 seems to take it just fine. So here I am, I'm just putting down a good amount of the adhesive so that it'll stay down on the black paper and it will help with the warping problem that it's having. And then I'm going to take my white cardstock, I'm going to gut it. I think I leave a 3, first of all I trim it all the way around the edge because I don't want to cover up that black border that I've created. And then I give it a 3/4 inch framing. So I'm basically matting the photo or the paper, but instead of matting it from the back, I'm matting it from the front, like a photo would be matted in a picture frame. The photo that I'm going to be using today is a photo from a family vacation we took several years ago to Glacier National Park. We had such a great time and really enjoyed being there. We took my dad, we took my great uncle and my niece and nephew, and we really just had a blast. And we don't have a ton of family photos, just the 4 of us, and this was just a nice photo with some beautiful scenery. And so I wanted to capture that and tell a little story about our time there together and the many trips that we've taken. So there you can kind of see what it's going to look like before all of the embellishments and whatnot. I'm going to first map my photo on some vellum, and then I will be using some packaging to map behind it. And the packaging is just a white cardstock with some black splatter on it. I'm not sure exactly what company it's from, if it's Pretty Little Studio or something like that. Anyway, I really just liked the little splatter, and it was kind of simple. All of the embellishments that are going on this page are going to be black and white and gold, so I wanted to keep everything to a minimum to kind of showcase the background and the photo. So it went perfectly. This is kind of like the black and white with a pop of color, although now it's color with a pop of black and white. It's kind of reverse. So if you're really into doing black and white with a pop of color, this is just the same thing but in reverse. So here I'm going through all of my white embellishments. I've cut out me sorting through embellishments so that you won't have to sit through the entire thing. But I went through my box of white, which also includes silver, my box of black, and my box of gold. I've pulled out everything that I think would be fitting to the photo or would add to the story. So I had some acrylic or acetate pieces, that the one that says love and then the one that says live simply up in the upper corner. I have a really difficult time using the acetate pieces because of them being clear. I'm not really sure where to put them or how to adhere them. I know I can staple them, but the stapler is not going to reach all the way down into where it says where the piece that says love is. Anyway, they're just really difficult for me to use, but they worked perfectly on this layout, and for some reason I didn't really struggle with them. There's many times I pull them out and I want to use them and so badly, and then I just say forget it. I just don't know what to do with it. But on this one it worked out easily, and there they are. I'm going to go ahead and put this tag right towards the end of love, and that's where my journaling is going to go, so it will be some hidden journaling. And seeing the back of that packaging, I think it is Pretty Little Studio. Anyway, I ended up using just my regular tape gun to adhere it. It didn't show up a whole lot because the tape gun kind of, the adhesive kind of just blended in with the stroke marks on the paper. So that worked out really well, and I didn't have any problem with that either. And then I could not remember what word I had down here. I knew it wasn't adventure. When I was kind of playing around testing what I wanted to use, I knew it wasn't adventure, but I could not figure out what it was. And then I finally found it over in my pile of black. It's going to say love today, and then adventure together is going to go down at the bottom. Anyway, I knew I used adventure. I just couldn't remember where. I wanted to take a second to apologize also. For some reason this video is showing up blurry on my screen. I don't know if it's going to show up blurry on your screen, or if I'm just having an issue with my laptop. I have been having some issues with it lately, and so I'm not sure if it's just on my screen or if it's going to be that way through your screen as well. And if it is blurry, I really apologize for that. I'm going to have to look into why that is happening. Now I've decided to go ahead and pop up the word together on some craft foam, and that is just the cheap craft foam that you find at Walmart. It works wonders for this. The adhesive on the back of the word together was not super sticky, so I had to add a little bit to that. And then I know I'm going to have to pull in some gold into my other two embellishment areas, and I will be doing that with some little gold hearts. They're like enamel dots, but they're little enamel hearts, and they're gold. So that's going to tie that together. And then I've got these little chipboard pieces. I believe they're from Mambi, and they are perfect. The black is just a perfect match for everything. You know, sometimes it's funny because you get black embellishments, but not all blacks are created equal. But these ones are all the same, and they all have a gloss type of finish to them. The acetate piece in the upper left-hand corner reads, "Live simply, dream big, love." And I didn't really want it to read as 3 separate statements, so I added the round piece that says, "Loved ones, simply dream big, love." It worked for me, and so I went ahead and left it there. I like the visual interest that it adds and the added dimension because it is popped up and it is chipboard. Also, the word ones is in gold glitter, so it brought the gold up to the upper left-hand corner. So now I have a nice diagonal for my layout. Now here are the close-ups. I thank you so much for watching. If you are not a subscriber, I'd love it if you'd hit subscribe down below. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.